All right. Good morning, Father.
Good morning.
It's good to be here with you at the National Shrine of Divine Mercy. And we're interviewing you today and your opinion on some topics to do with abortion. And if you could just tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do here at the Divine Mercy Shrine, your background.
I am the Polish priest from the congregation of the Marian Fathers of the Immaculate Conception. I was ordained 29 years ago in Poland, and then doing some ministry in Poland, England and the Philippines. I arrived to the US last February, and I am based in the National Shrine of Divine Mercy in Stockbridge, Massachusetts, doing pastoral ministry here.
Okay. All right, so since you've been here at the shrine, just this past year, you've been involved with one of the retreats that they offer here. It's the Rachel's Vineyard retreat, which is to help women in their experience with abortion and how to recover from. So can you just tell me what your experience has been with that since you've first assisted in these last two retreats? I know there was another priest that was handling this for a long time. I'm not sure what is that.
Father Anthony, director of the shrine.
Okay. If you don't mind explaining your experience with that, and was it what you expected, or did you have any expectations going into it, or maybe if you can briefly explain
that. I have experience of many kinds of retreats given in the Catholic Church, but really this year was the first time when I participated as a priest in the Rachel's Vineyard retreat. First in June and recently just in this month. And this retreat has a different character and is dealing with people affected so much by abortions, and the effects are so serious and the burden is so heavy and sometimes unbearable, and they are in despair of looking for help and for healing of the spirit, of emotions, of conscience, and the total healing. And so this experience for me is very important, because those who are affected by abortion are in great need of help and God's mercy.
Were you surprised at how much an abortion affects a woman emotionally, or her whole life, or even someone that's did it 30 years prior to what she's experiencing now, and how much it affected her journey in life and her?
I think that nobody who was involved in abortion in direct way or indirectly expected the consequences of abortion.
Right.
And the post-abortion trauma is so serious, so painful, lasting for such a long time, impossible to remove from conscience, from heart, affecting the whole life, that it's important to let everyone know how serious are consequences of every abortion, because this is a dealing with a human being created by God, who has already soul and body, who, even from the human point of view, may say that somebody was conceived by accident, was not planned.
Right.
But from the point of view of God, he already has life, is created. So God has planned for this particular human being. Even the parents are not ready to accept. But they are not able to deny of the reality of existence of the true child, which is a true, full human being.
Right. And doctors and senators that say that a child is not, it's not an actual human being at a certain amount of weeks, and they try to use this as an argument, or that if a woman's raped and she conceives, how can you expect her to have this child? Do you have anything that you'd like to say about those two particular things? I mean, we know that the child is a child at conception, but of course they try to argue this, in that if someone's raped, that makes it any different. Any views on those two things, Father?
Of course, there are sometimes very difficult situations, very painful experiences, like in the case of rape, and a woman is in terrible pain and despair sometimes, and not seeing future for herself or the child. But as far as I know, that in many cases, if women who conceived a child by rape, and they found somebody who is compassionate, who helped them and convinced them to accept this child, and even some people were ready to help to give this child for adoption. So in many cases, the women who agreed to give birth to this child, after giving birth, 9 months of pregnancy, were not able to give their children to somebody else.
Right.
Because it was already
a bond,
great bond, yes, between them, and they wanted to have this child, and they loved the children.
And as far as medical personnel and legislative representatives saying that at 2, 3, 4 weeks of pregnancy that this isn't actually a human being formed. Do you have anything to say on that?
The Catholic Church is teaching and is deeply convinced that a human being is from the moment of conception. And at the moment of conception, God is giving to a child an immortal soul. So for us, there is no doubt that this is already full human being from the moment of conception, even if we know that particular organs of this child will be developing in the womb of the mother. But everything is already given to this child, and this is just the process of development.
In a beating heart, I mean,
yes,
beating heart. They've proven
sure.
that. So I just wanted to touch briefly on the two bills in Massachusetts, because that's where we are. We're here in Massachusetts. And the Massachusetts state legislature is considering passing into law two bills in the next legislative session. They're very identical in text, and one is the HB 3320, and it is an act removing obstacles and expanding access to women's reproductive health. And the second is SB 1209, is an act to remove obstacles and expand abortion access. So, and then of course, if these are passed, they want to be allowed to override anything on a national level. And what would you like to say to the senators that could possibly influence them in one way or the other to change their mind? Is there anything that you would like to say about those things?
We live in time when many people, majority of people, are very sensitive to human rights. And many people are fighting for human rights, trying to defend human rights. It is very good. And saying about abortion, we very often focus on women, and we say a pregnant woman has a right to give birth to her child or to abort her child. But there is a big confusion here, because we speak about the rights of women, pregnant women, but we don't speak about the rights of unborn children, which are not less human beings than their mothers. We cannot discriminate against age or being unborn. We defend human rights, and then we should know that the basic human right is the right to life. And if we deny the right to life, all other human rights have no basement,
Right.
and lose their sense. So we need to be honest. If we are human beings, we should treat all our brothers and sisters who are alive, even being unborn, who are equal to us in humanity, who are created by God. And we should start to defend. I have no words to express my pain about the new, deeply troubling bills, and regarding the expansion of abortion access. I cannot accept abortion in any age, because this is killing a human being.
Right.
And because it is like expanding the great injustice, great cruelty and murder. And we need to start talking about children as a full human being from the moment of conception, having full right to life.
Right. Thank you, Father. And I mean, as one of the arguments that they're using to try to consider passing these bills are is that there could be reasons, physical, emotional, psychological reasons that a woman has a right to have an abortion in such extreme situations as after giving birth, even. But as you probably experienced being involved with Rachel's Vineyard, the emotional scars and the psychological scars are far more deep and profound after a woman has an abortion. Could you touch on that just a
Yes.
bit?
You know, in order to avoid the most serious mistakes in life, which cannot be changed, I would like to say to all women or men, fathers, mothers, who have children, who learn that they have a child, women who are pregnant, and sometimes I understand that they may be in very, very difficult situation and having so many temptations to have abortion, not to accept the child because of many reasons: education, financial reason, lack of acceptance by family, career, and not being prepared, not planning a child, many other reasons.
Right.
I would like to tell the parents that there is help for you, and in spite of this shock of learning that you have a child, it is much better for you to look for help now and not to escape to abortion, because it is not escape.
No.
You are going like a deep well, and your problems will be 100,000 more serious
Yes.
than now you experience now. So, I am the shrine, the Divine Mercy Shrine. You are always welcome to come to us. You can meet a priest, me, any priest. You can talk to us. We will try to help to find the best solution. And because, sometimes the loneliness and having nobody to talk to help may bring you to this desperate decision.
Right.
So it's always good to know, even for not Catholics, you can also go to your pastors, somebody who can counsel you, who can listen to you. But for sure, you can always find somebody who will be ready to help you.
Right.
And in the case that really you don't want your child, is much better is to give birth to the child and to give for adoption, and you will have much more peaceful conscience, heart, and future life, much more peaceful.
Right.
And you will be spared from terrible burdens and post-abortive syndromes, which are impossible to remove completely
Yes.
from heart.
So
Yeah.
is that your experience with this Rachel's Vineyard and what you've seen?
Yes, I understand that sometimes pregnancy is bringing also pain to sometimes even to girl who is conceiving a child, being still young, teenager, or to her parents, and to the mother who is raped. So this is really big pain, of what happened, and big suffering, and sometimes darkness, and seeing no other solutions. But there is always solution. But you see, if we look for this unplanned, unexpected pregnancies, and we look at the children who are already conceived, and they are innocent, completely innocent, and they have already life. So why to punish these children, innocent children, with a capital punishment? Right. So it is bigger punishment
right.
Than the offenders of rape
Yes.
Receive by law. So you see, we should be really just. We should defend human rights, but every human being. And I am a priest, so I am deeply convinced that God appreciates every human being, every child, and is loving the child. And God can always provide solution, even in the most difficult situations, to help.
Right. So here at the shrine, you celebrate life very much so, and also the loss of life, the children that have been aborted. And you have a special dedication room to these children, and where a mother can put the names of their children. Can you explain a little bit about that?
The rector of our shrine, of the National Shrine of Divine Mercy, Father Anthony Gramlich, who was spiritual director of Rachel Vineyard Retreats for many years, was inspired to build the Shrine of Holy Innocence. Shrine dedicated to the children, aborted children, miscarriage children, children who pass away. And so this is a beautiful place. And the parents who experience the loss of their child may put the name of the child, may first give name to the child if it was child unborn,
Right.
and may become aware that the child was a full human being, and because they had no funeral, so at least this in the Shrine of Holy Innocence, they may put the name of the child, they may visit the shrine, they may pray there, and offering their child to God, to His mercy.
And the effects after an abortion are much worse. Maybe we can end with a prayer.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
O merciful Father, I entrust to you all those responsible for making laws, for protecting of human lives, for the gift of the Holy Spirit. Come, Holy Spirit, to their hearts. Fill them with great wisdom, faith, and love, that they may see every human being as God sees in reality of creation, with body and soul, and give them strength and courage to defend human rights, especially the right to life, and protect every unborn child, that all the unjust laws may be removed, that in the future not only the abortion excess will be expanded, but will be removed, that we may see the laws prohibiting abortion for the good of children, parents, society, country, and whole humanity. We entrust to the Blessed Virgin Mary, pro-life movement, and we ask you, Mother of Mercy, to support us and to help us to defend every human being. Amen.
Amen.
In the Father, of the Son, of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, Father.